Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz. And we're going to have an interesting topic tonight, a little bit of self-moderating. Who are we? What are we? Are we guilty? Are we innocent of being basically a giver or taker? Some of you are going to understand right now, are you a giver or taker? And there's nothing I can do about it, Kaz. That's just the way I'm wired. I get it. And we've been rewired since multimedia took over and told you the lessons of the past aren't as important. And the TikTok, etc., is competing with history, which teaches us how to ward off the wrongs of the future. All the answers are in the past, all of them, for now. So thank you very much for everyone turning up. We see it's very, very thick with the blues here, which is the moderators team. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe for starters. Australian channel, we're here for you. Give her a reach around her. Dave D, keep it out of. Okay, the toilets, please, mate. Foxy, g'day, buddy. How you going? Gold Logie, great actor right there. Desert Wolf, hi all. Judah, he who let us all down. I've got to go work out before it gets late, but be sure you got, mate, no, stay here. Work out your brain, man. Work out your brain, and that'll work out what comes next. We've got Chris McDonald. Now I feel like a Big Mac. Hey, Kaz and crew. G'day, Chris. How you going, mate? Newy Joe. Two Saints. Now, thank you very much for your photo and your message. It was a really, really good one. I love it. We've got to love our Patreon members. Sorry, that was for the Navy. Dave, you just worry about yourself, sir. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the title. What do you bring to the table? You've heard it before. It makes some people go insane with guilt that they probably bring nothing to the table. What do you expect from me? Okay, and then how do you know if you're a giver or taker? So let's address that tonight. I've spoken to two of my counsel, one being Cassie and the other one being Cam, okay, from Darwin, lives now in Western Australia. So it's important that I actually canvass intelligent people, communicators, before I come on, so I don't come on with absolute vigor, because at the moment, my right arm doesn't work at all. And guess what? I'm out of painkillers. I'll see the doctor tomorrow, and hopefully they can do something, because this pain is that self-harm sort of pain. If it doesn't go away, you've got to come up with a solution, don't you? Anyway, so what we're going to talk about tonight is a couple of metaphors, okay, so that from there you understand where we're coming from. The first one is the village metaphor, the useless mouth syndrome. What are we talking about? I'm glad you asked, Freddie. Logic and truth. It's all killed these days, isn't it? By feelings. Okay, and there is a room for people's feelings, but not at a time when a situation requires action. Action. Apply safe. Tilt right. Cock lock. There we go. Anyway, and make sure it stays safe, finger outside the trigger guard. So what are we talking about the village? What we have in today's society, and I was speaking with Cassie just then about it, is in the Western world, for all of time, there was some sort of ordeal of manhood, where at a certain time you were pulled away from your mum's tit, and then from there you went and did an ordeal with just the men, hopefully it was a good one. And from there you were tested, and you could come back as a failure, where you went back to picking berries and working with the females, weaving baskets, or from then on you changed and you became a male without the responsibilities of those within the village. So what happens is, the metaphor of the campfire was the people that sat closest to the hot rocks in almost every culture are the older guys with the sorest bones, with the arthritis and the greatest stories of wisdom that they've survived through, while behind them were the braves, the warriors, okay, that stood back there impatiently saying, let's go down and fuck them up, instead of, okay, just use diplomacy, because if you don't use words, then you have to fight. And if you lose, that could be the actual annulment of this village. So they were your hunters, they were your braves, they were the guys that went out and defended the village, or expanded the village, so to speak, for resources that the village required to expand, which gave it a better chance of survival through warfare, famine, or whatever else may come up. And then behind them, kids sat with absolutely no voice whatsoever and were allowed to listen but not talk. Stuff around, feel some of the warmth. But what's happening now is now we have people that are useless mouths, i.e. children, people that haven't contributed anything to society yet, still having an equal voice with those that may have 70 years wisdom, and being able to say that's just your opinion versus my opinion, when one is based on a life of action, of giving, of providing, of protecting. So that doesn't happen anymore. And people don't realize what they don't know until all of a sudden they have that wisdom, or there's a chance of them being dashed on the rocks. And then they wish they had have listened, okay, to the wisdom of those that were sitting closest to the warmer rocks. So know where you are. Are you the child? Are you the brave? Or are you the wise? And from there, adjust your ears and your mouth to do a little bit more listening, okay, or a little bit more speaking. You know, there's nothing worse than someone who is so full of wisdom that is an introvert that doesn't share it. That's a shame. That's lost lessons right there. And we see a lot of that in the week of the Anzac. All of those, the best of us, the strongest of us, that deployed in 1914 to 1915 for the baptism of fire, you know, that didn't realize that the bravest of the brave, we lost them because they were at the front. Okay, and then we never saw the 100 children that would have been sprouted from their loins through grandkids that would have ended up being the best people of our nation. Okay, yeah, Foxy, you can't take what you give what you're willing to without the expectation of having something given back to you. Absolutely, Ranger. Are you actually a redhead? Let me know. Jamie Bauer, hey Kaz and everyone. Rogue, g'day Kaz, and g'day to everyone. Well done, Joshy Claus. Evening, Kaz. First stream I've been able to catch. Well, that's fantastic, son of Santa, Joshua Claus, and you're very welcome here. I take it you're from Germany, my friend. Explanation of the village. So if you have more to add on that, put that down below, you know, and if you want to support the channel, subscribe to the channel. Okay, anything above that is a bonus, but, you know, I just want you to subscribe so you can be part of the conversation and also teach us in return. Okay, the next one. The outcome of tonight's discussion, again, is to create a conversation that allows you to have a source, a conversation that you can add to, or maybe share with someone and say to them, what do you look at the world from a different perspective, and maybe do a little bit of self-regulation, become the best version of yourself. What do you actually bring to the table, and what does that mean? Are you a giver? Are you a taker? Not based on gender, based on action. Yep. Because we keep having this gender war at the moment when really what separates us is givers and takers. Takers will never be happy with what you give. And they'll use things like statements like, I didn't ask you to do that. I never, no one said you had to do that. While givers always are shaking their head thinking, wouldn't the world be a better place if everyone just thought about the village instead of himself? Yep. Okay. And we're going to get to that. So, V2 Racing. Cheers, Kaz. No problem, V2. Ranger, I'm indeed a ranger, but had some luscious long locks before I joined the army. Okay, hopefully they made some rope out of those and they can use those on a obstacle course. Dave D says extra black pens, Sharpies, and electrical tape. Raymond, I'm not sure what that's about. So let's push on. Righto. Religion, family, unit, and friendship should be enough for us to self-regulate behaviour and feel real shame where it is deserved, and a world where no shame or regrets, with no shame or regrets, implies perfection, and we are not perfect. It wouldn't let me put any more words there. What do I mean by that? So the benefits of being around spiritual people, you know, regardless of what that is, whether that be Islam, whether that be Buddhism, whether that be Hindu, whether that be Christianity. And when I say Christian, I mean everyone that believes in God and Jesus, etc. Or whether it be someone that just believes there's something greater than what people understand. And I think people have got it wrong, and maybe all of them are the one God. But the one thing that we really do want to occur is the best for the generations, to be able to be inoperable, to always think of each other, be aware of the cultural differences that can be dangerous to each other or not mesh at all. Okay, but at least have some manner of shame that you understand the difference between right or wrong. And when you're by yourself and no one is watching, you understand that you're God. Your spirituality, there is a greater cause is looking down at you and tells you don't piss in the elevator. or when you do something wrong, when you've had a moment where it's slipped, that you actually have the self-regulating shame that you eventually turn around and say, that's never going to happen again. I will never tell anyone what I just did. Okay, but that'll never happen again. I'm a one-time offender. Um, Peppers, can't those same forces hold you back, Kaz? Your partner can either elevate you or hold you back from progress. Absolutely, and then it comes down to whether it comes back from love or whether it's a taker. How can a relationship work when one is a taker? All it means is the other person is living a life potentially of misery, really. Okay, where you will never be paid back the emotional requirement of justice to allow you to feel like you're actually in a relationship rather than having a parasitical force that keeps taking and taking and taking and demanding more while giving less and less and less, as if familiarity breeds contempt in the relationship as you get older. Okay. So the family unit, right? We're seeing the family unit is being destroyed by social media, right? Where they're saying that, there is so many benefits of the court system in first world nations, where the female, for example, is rewarded for leaving, for cheating, for breaking up, for taking everything when they go, while not mentioning that a man that has had 3 relationships go wrong, might as well, have nothing left. There's nothing to offer after you've had 3 breakups. The husk of a human, whereas a lady could potentially have 3 houses. Just be careful, guys. If you pick the wrong person, it can be bad as taking up heroin, I'd imagine. And I've seen some guys that dashed on some rocks. I know a lot of guys have taken their own life because they picked the wrong person. Take your time. It has to be about respect. It has to be about, love was not one of the ingredients of marriage when it first came around. That was about alliance. Okay. But now you actually have the opportunity, the luxury of it being about love. So make sure it's someone you actually respect, going into a family that you see as an alliance. Take them all in as a package deal and love them and give. And hopefully, if you meet a reciprocating, giving family, it's the best decision you've made in your life, and you'll be rich in many ways other than financially. What else we got? You hear that so often. Guess what, fellas? Women get fucked over too. Look, Jen, absolutely know that, but you also know that the court system, only goes one way, right? This is not a personal attack on any gender. This is not a personal attack on any group. So don't take it that way. Just look at it and go, where do I fit into this? Yep. Okay. So shame. We should feel it. What do we do in excess? We delving in drugs knowing that it was that maybe you have an addictive nature and it wasn't going to work out well? Is it you drink too much while your family can't afford a laptop for your kid to go to school? Is it people that are under your responsibility deserve a better version of you? Are you single? Are you a good friend? Will you answer your phone at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday if a friend rings, or do you put it on silent, to make sure you get asleep? I don't know. You put the leaves on that tree, and if the shoe fits, there we go. Okay. So this is some of the things. Some of these are a little bit funny. Some are not. Okay. Number 1. And again, I'm not judging here. Confession time. Are you, by your standards, a giver or a taker? I'm not asking for a reason why, but just are you a giver or a taker? Because whatever has happened in your life may have created you to be this way. You might have been an only child, so you're naturally greedy. You don't want to share. There might be a reason. Anyway, I'm a giver, at my own detriment. Does it hurt me sometimes? Absolutely. Does it hurt me when what I do and what I give is not appreciated? Absolutely. Do I get frustrated but still have friends that are takers? Absolutely. Do I get rid of them because I know a friend is a taker? No, I don't. But you got to know what your friends are so you're not let down when the expectation of actions comes back. Can you be surprised by some people? Yes. I push back, so giver. Foxy. V2 Racing. I had a parasite wife and then I stopped giving. She used my daughter against me. Yep, heard it so many times. Eventually, after 3 years, I kicked her out. Okay? I lost all contact to my daughter. That breaks my heart. I have no idea where she is. Yes, I seen the black dog and fought through it. A lot of people can't make it through, man. Jenny G, I love giving. There should be more love in the world, absolutely. But, some people have been burnt too many times. Yeah. Linux noob, taker, but I'm working on being a giver. There's nothing wrong with that. That is taking a conscious effort for you to be able to say, this is what I am, and I'm sorry, that you got to remind me sometimes. I get that. Cassie's a giver. I know that. I've spoken to you enough times to know that. I've lost friends who were takers. Yep. You got to cut people away eventually, don't you? Peppers. I like to think I'm a giver, but maybe the pain over the years has changed. That Dave D, no idea, mate. I could disappear. I don't think it would make much difference. To tell you the truth, Peppers, even when Michael Jackson passed away, it only took a week before no one basically cared. Oh, well, not that they didn't care, but before they were getting ready to fight over his bones. Yeah. The fact that none of us actually know what our great-grandfathers look like, and have no sort of mental inclination towards them other than maybe the only photo that we have of them. A lot of people don't even know the name of their great-grandparents. That's how quickly we disappeared to the dust. Cherish those are alive. Cherish those that are in your life right now and take it from there. Foxy says, take the good things you like from every person. You use that. Leave the bad you don't like with them. There you go. Don't let them get the free rent. Now, this is a little bit of a test you can do to your friends. Not that I say do tests on your friends, but this one is a little bit of a more upbeat, funny one. Bam. What do you take to a friend's barbecue? Okay, or expect people to bring to a barbecue. Even when you say to people, don't bring anything, I've got it all covered, it's because you sort of know that you're in a group of friends where it rotates through, right? And they've got you covered. But I can't turn up to someone's house with nothing, And when you see someone turn up with just a six-pack, or they turn up with just the thin sausages, the bare minimum, then I think straight away that's a goddamn taker. Because the person that comes with the fucking 6 sausages, the thin sausages, he's going to eat Sarah's satay sticks. He's going to taste some of the other beers and the exotic drinks that are waiting. He's going to have his hand up to his wrist in the hot dogs and bar snacks. He's going to take more than he brought to the table. That's a taker. And when they go, don't you dare ever take the alcohol you brought with you. It becomes tribute to the house. Bring a carton. $100 for a night for a day out is nothing, especially when it's someone else's house is going to have to clean it up. So the bare minimum should be a carton. When I turn up to someone's barbecue, I bring prawns. I will beat you all in what I bring, other than those lovely ladies that bring pavlovas and all that well-cooked shit. Carton full of snags and steak. There you go, Winnie. Gold logies. Some people just bring themselves. Yep. And they should be whipped on the fence palings for that. I'll take good wine, good beer, and good times. Yeah, and you'll take them home with you too. You rat. Peppers, what can I bring to help out? If I know a person well enough, I bring basics and help clean up after. That's a big one. To even offer to come the next day and help with the cleanup is massive. Okay. My arm team is absolutely killing me. So, next time you have a barbecue or you hold one, just watch what people come through the door. Use your Ring doorbell, to take a photo of each person's tribute as they turn up. You're never going to change now. You're going to be looking all, Foxy reckons she brings gluten-free bread and soy milk. That is cuisine terrorism right there. Always 2 cartons, says Damien. But do you drink them all yourself? Your name is the devil. Let's go to the next one. Okay, takers normally live in a transactional existence. They surround themselves with friends that can give them something in return. Everyone's got the fake friend, the fake colleague, that will be as friendly as hell to those above them, the pole smoker, and what they'll do is they'll be as friendly as the favors that come back to them to be part of the crew. A lot of people that smoke will have an unfair advantage in the workplace if the boss is a smoker, and they'll use that as a way to talk to people multiple ranks above their position to get into the boss's pocket, so to speak. That's a common thing that's used in the military. Daz reckons low gluten-free bread and soy milk. The brown knows exactly right, Daz. Concerned Aussie says, "G'day, SMLE MK3, my favourite. Anchovies on pretzels." That's why I love this channel, man. I used to have a girlfriend like that, Kaz. Yep, I've had many of them that all of a sudden start texting as soon as you're filling the car up with petrol. And as they know the car's full, you're going to pay for it. Oh, by the way, can you also get me this drink and a packet of chips? Yeah, well, that's an extra, $13. Thank you for that. Dave Dental, someone niggles. Shits. James Bennett, g'day, Kaz. I'm in a small pipe band and I'm marching for Anzac Day, and they want me to wear my uncle's World War I medals that I don't have access to. Do you know how I can contact anyone to get them? It's too late. It's too late. It's Anzac Day on Thursday, mate. To get those, you're allowed to wear them, and then you wear them on the right-hand side, not the left-hand side. The left-hand side is for you, is your medals. I'd imagine it's too late, mate. They're called bludgers, and there's plenty of them. Yep. But the thing is, Newy Joe, that no one actually tells them that that's what they are. Yeah. Hey, Robbie Kirk, how you going? Let's go for the next one. Do you live in a transactional existence? Basically, you should be able to give to people. Pick up the bill. Who should pay? Okay. Well, that's a good one. So if I ask a friend, and I've got a mate that I always ask to come to breakfast on weekends, and that means sometimes he's got to get up early, etc. But 90% of the time I pay because I don't know his financial status, and I asked him to come for that meal. But let's swap that over and let's make that about dating. I believe the man should pay for the first date. If the female doesn't want to see him again, she should pay for half to let that guy know with absolute certainty, this is the only date we have. I wasn't here to mooch off you, but there will be no second date. And that is why I'm paying. Don't make me say it because you're going to be embarrassed, but if you accept that he pays for that meal and you want to see him again, then you should actually say to him, can I pick next time? Or you picked really well tonight. Where are we going to go next time? And it should be reciprocated. Eventually, the third time, the woman should go, I've got tonight, please. I'm here because I want to be here, and I'm not one of those girls. So let me pay. That way you'll know that I'm here by choice and that you're doing all right at the moment. Okay. Anyway, that's what I'd recommend. I'll get this round. You get the next. Okay, yep. Not on the first date, but definitely on the second one, because you don't want to be just looked at as a teammate, by men either. We still need to keep our roles as the male and female, etc. The hunter and the hunted, so to speak. But when you run, just allow us to catch you a little bit, or at least pretend to trip like the wounded gazelle, so the lion gets his food. Who pays for the Reuben sandwich? Matty Benson. You got I think you got it. Did you get it or I get it? That was in Coffs Harbour. That was the first Reuben sandwich I ever got. And that was just before you ruined my fan, remember? Matty, one of the best blokes around. He's in Coffs Harbour, and he does a bloody good job, and he's a bloody good dad. Matty, I've just had to call off my Anzac reunion with all my friends who meet up tomorrow and the next day. 2 seconds. My arm looks like the blue swimmer's rear leg. It's pathetic. The pain that is going through that at the moment is like when you realise you've already got nothing left on payday. It's spent. Anyway, or you've walked into the wrong toilet after a few drinks, and the girls look at you like a predator. Never happened to me, but I'm sure it's happened to you. G'day, Kai. Next one. This is a good one. Are you part of a team where there's people that consider themselves, okay, as the main character in the story, within the team? Is it always about them, about their self promoting themselves to a place where what can they get out of the actions of the team? An example of that sometimes can be something similar to myself sometimes, where I wanted to showcase my fitness quite often during PT, but I was only able to run at the speed of slob, because infantry only moves at the speed of the slowest and least capable. Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it's because the guy is a beast. He's 100 kilos, carries the gun like a machine, and that's all fine. But other times you're dealing with a cake eater, someone who doesn't fit in with the team, and has no self-shame for being fat, and from there, the whole team has less capability and less chance of survival on a battlefield because that person has made the story about himself and made excuses to be able to fulfill the reason why they can't do what the rest of the team can do, and they'll use any length of excuses to get there. Tom of the Jungle, how you going? Speaking of villages, I'm back in Canterbury. I've never heard of it. Kaz Death Railway for Anzac Day and month in Asia. Songkran Festival was a blast. Won't make it back to Nam again this time though. Tom nearly got stuck inside a tunnel. It gives me anxiety just thinking about his story. The military is a classic example, or the platoon is a classic example of the village, because in every single platoon there is someone that doesn't belong in the village and their life is hell. You do not want to be the person in an infantry platoon that doesn't belong in the village. Anyway, it doesn't work out well, team. And that brings us to the statement that you'll hear people sometimes say. I had a discussion before about, we'll go to the next point actually. I had this conversation. We've got two more bonus points actually after this. I forget what I was going to say. Anyway, okay. So the reason why I believe the problems are happening in today's society is because we live in populations of 100,000 in cities of 1 million plus, where no matter what you're bringing to the table, some people come to the table and just take. They're normally uni students, and all they do is take. That's all they do. But they don't feel any shame for it. They don't feel any regret for it, because their behavior will never be policed, and they'll always have an excuse for that bad behavior because they live in a town of 100,000 or a city of 1 million people, which means there'll always be someone to fill the slack. There'll always be someone that keeps the lights on. There'll always be someone that fits that rusty hinge and replaces it, that keeps the roads going, keeps the world spinning. But it all changes. Okay, let's take it from a city of 1 million and take it down to a village of 100. All of a sudden, that person's actions, they don't have diplomatic immunity anymore. If you sleep with another person's wife in a city of 1 million, you might get away with it, or it might end up a bloody mess. You do that in a village of 100, you're going to end up either dead or ostracized from the village, which means now you have to do everything yourself, hunt for yourself, protect yourself from the other 99. Get your own food, make your own shelter. Your lifespan will be horribly shortened because of your actions of lust. Yep. Okay, so stealing, again, gone. Drugs, gone. Excessive alcohol, you better hope you overcompensate with the hunting. We slip into our roles where females will be about the baskets, will be about the provisioning, will be about the cooking. The kids won't have a say at all. They might have jobs to do, but they don't get to vote. They are useless mouths until they show that they can contribute to that table. And anyone that can't contribute to the table and only takes for it is a useless mouth. That's what you are. Now, I get a little bit sort of, what do I think about the red corn chip with their social credit score? Should someone who's given their life, for example, who we've got, Tom of the Jungle, Foxy Fox, Wingnut, Dave D. Dave's an old guy. For what Dave D has done for his country, not just wearing a uniform, but okay, within the engineering mob that he works with, etc. At what stage is he worth more points, more rewards than someone who's 21 that still hasn't had a job? Absolutely, he is worth more. Absolutely. And therefore should be given some sort of bonus to his contribution to his tribe. But in saying that, then you start a problem, because then the government can actually have you skipping a rope for points and doing things for a transactional purpose or favor instead of doing it because it's the right thing to do. So social credit score, I don't know what I think on that one. What do you think, Dave? What do you think, Foxy? What do you think, Wingnut? The knowledge he would have, I'm sorry, there's a love heart in front of that. I can't quite see the word. Peppers. I made my story about my family, Kaz, starting to wonder if this was the right call. But my kids are my life. Not that they think Grumpy Dad feels that way. I honestly understand my dad so much better now. Yep, well, we've got our roles, haven't we? Yep. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, who you are now, would you be accepted in a village of 100? Yep. If you go in there and we go to build that village, that said village, and tell the ladies, come later, come in 2 weeks, the men are going to take their beef jerky, they're going to take their carried water beside the river, and we're going to make our own sawmills, and what we're going to do is build some habitats, some the village huts that like was on a thumbnail of this. Do you build and volunteer to build Dave D's house first rather than your own? Understanding eventually they're going to get to you. Are you a village asset or a village liability? Are you going to give to Dave so that he knows straight away, even though he was ready to build yours first? Okay, the most important thing for the village is that everyone builds the most important house first. Now, that might be a storeroom. It might be a collective hall, and then it could be the housing, and it goes from there. But if you go in with the attitude with the team, okay, that I stay at the back, I provide what I can provide, and then when it's my turn, I'm gracious in acceptance. An example of this is when you're at the sergeant's mess. Men only ever go to the rear of the line, even if they're single, and all of the women and children that are there get to go to the front and eat before you. I don't recommend that to sergeants' wives. They're normally pretty big rigs with pretty big appetites, and they don't look backwards to see if there's anything left for the people. But if you go for privates, where the girls are between, 18 and 26, then, there's normally a bit of tucker left. Yeah, I've never seen anything. The sergeant's mess. Sorry, guys, but it is like watching wildebeest cross the Serengeti. XT, hey, Kaz, just got into the RAF reserves. I hope you've been doing well. I was just wondering if you knew anything about the air-based protection and security role. Yeah, that's the AGs, mate. They try to pretend to be infantry. I don't think they ever get actually tested in their life. And when they do on an operational theatre, it's normally by special forces, and you don't want to get tested by special forces, i.e. become the victim of some crossbow bolt in the neck. You would be nuts to think people don't make mistakes. To try and live the perfect life without screwing the pooch means you have no life experience. Absolutely. And that's why you should never blame someone or look down on the person that loses some of their fights in, like Justin Gagey in UFC 300. He'll come back better or stronger, or now we know his chin's cracked. He might also be retired. I doubt it with him, but your mistakes are fine. Your mistakes are fine. They normally grow back better, or they're supposed to if you self-regulate, and you make yourself better. So would you be a net positive in a village of 100? And this metaphor, I believe, is one of the best you can have. Okay? What you do in today's society, in a city of 1 million, if I was to take that away and put you in a village of 100, would you be considered a team player? Would you be considered someone from the village that people go, mate, lucky you're with us? Hey, Robbie Kirk, how you going? Gifted 10 in the trenches with Kaz memberships. The whole screen has gone green. Can we get some thumbs up for the Rob Kirk that has either manipulated us or just become the biggest giver in tonight's stream? Thank you very much. Foxy Fox, XT, Jamie Bauer, Christian, Jaden, spelt wrong, Wingnut, he's already there. Any guy, Oscar Manning, Oscar, I know where you are at the moment. How you going, my man? What are you doing with the phone in your hand? Philip, Elijah, nice name. Swillpot, I love it. Jen has always been a member. Thank you for that, my dear. And XT, look at you with your new hat on. Thank you very much, guys. Can we get some words of comments for Rob Kirk related to Captain Kirk from what series? Righto. This is a good one to talk to people. That's the way to ask people in a village of 100. Now, where would you fit in? Okay, next one. The bonus question. There's 2 bonus questions. Are you able to forgive others? If not, war is inevitable. Okay, so what we're seeing now, what I believe was a wrong thing to do under any circumstance, was for Israel to hit an embassy. Don't hit embassies. If you reduce the chance of a conversation occurring, that only leaves war. Do you know how to say sorry to someone, even if you know that you are not really the one to blame? Are you able to bring that back, save a relationship with sometimes a taker, and say, man, I'm sorry that we had that argument, but I treasure your friendship. Can we put that behind us and go and have a cup of coffee or something now? And if that means we've got to forget it never happened and try our hardest to never go down that road again with our differences, can we do that, mate? Because I couldn't imagine a day-to-day without you. I accept you for who you are. Let's push past that. And I'm a bigger man, and can admit that I'm wrong too a lot of the time. I treasure your friendship. Let's do that. So are you able to forgive others? A lot of countries can't forgive each other. If you can't forgive each other at the micro, how can people forgive people at the macro? I.e., Japan forgiving America for getting hit with 2 atomic bombs. Okay, or China forgiving Japan, if they did, for the war that happened with them. When is it time to forgive the Germans that have been born post 1945? Okay, we forgive the Mongols. They killed shitloads more. If you can't forgive someone for something that they didn't do, then that means only war is inevitable. So learn to apologize to people, or at least to throw that olive branch. Because if you don't, it becomes a pretty sad place pretty quickly. And sometimes it's family. That's the hardest thing of all, especially if an adult has actually betrayed the trust of a young. That can be very hard. And sometimes the action is inaction, what you didn't do to protect your child, not what you did to hurt them. Yep. Okay. Number 7, are you able to regulate your own behaviour and feel shame for actions taken or not taken and adjust your future self? Yep. Be very careful of saying, I have no regrets, or unapologetically me. That's normally a fuckhead's way of talking. There's nothing wrong with saying, I have regrets in this life, but I'm not going to share them. But I have learnt from them. That's a good way of doing it. Don't have just a confession session for the sake of it. You may never, be forgiven for what you say out loud. Take your penance, live with what you've done, and I'm about to move on to another subject now, which I didn't expect to see this week. I didn't expect to ever see. And I'll explain that quickly to you, but it's in the same sort of boat as this. Vita Racing. I actually feel sorry for Genghis Khan. He was picked on as a kid. What went around came around. Yeah, he more than made up for it, didn't he? He did more than make up for it. At the moment, there is a gentleman whose name escapes me, is Eric. What is it? Press like if you can, team. Let's try and get that up to 50 if we can. Either way, there's people that take their own lives because of the internal combustion guilt engine that they carry with them. That we change basically every 4 years, where we reflect internally on things we've done in the past, things that went against our moral courage. I believe that my post traumatic stress disorder is more of a moral courage, not moral courage, more of a moral wound. It went against everything morally about the way I look at the world and my protective engine for others. So, that's hard for me. But my way around that is to communicate about it and tell people what I've learned from it. But there's a lot of people that have done very, very hard things, which at the time may have seemed like the right thing to do. And then in fermentation of alcohol, substance abuse, time, a lack of herd around them, maybe a dysfunctional family, it could be through sickness, whatever. They've realized that there was a time of their life they're not proud of and unable to get past. And that is our internal shame engine. We are meant to have shame. We are meant to feel bad for those things that we've done in the past that are either known or not known. But you've heard the name Marcus Luttrell. You've heard the name Chris Kyle, Marine sniper. You've heard the name Jocko Willenick. Now, all three of those guys at the moment, by some other tridents within the Navy SEALs, are absolutely dragging those guys through the mud with allegations, which I'd recommend you to go and watch the videos, but I believe are probably legit. And what we done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there might be a level of statute of limitations on things, but you don't have a statute of limitations on what you've done yourself internally, mentally. And when people have found out, that information can be very, very damning, especially if you've flown close to the sun, the wings of Icarus, and basically your past has come back to haunt you. Now, this guy speaks with absolute clarity, and he speaks in a way I never thought I would see Jocko getting thrown under a bus in a way that seems like it's probably pretty credible. It sounds like it's more than just smoke. And this guy's on a couple of podcasts and he's bringing it up and he's bringing up receipts, and he's actually allowing for Jocko, or Marcus Luttrell, etc., to come and defend themselves. But that'd be a very, very silly thing to do, because if they are guilty of what he's saying, that would be a confession, a damnation, a confirmation of things that have happened in the past, and the problem would be way bigger, than what we've seen with Ben Robert Smith. Now, it's one of those watch this space sort of things. I really didn't expect it. And the Trident fraternity have come out to him and said, we agree with everything you've said. He's not getting backlash. In actual fact, he's saying the only backlash he's had is some people have said, why are you airing out the laundry of the SEALs? You're going to permanently damage our franchise. So that's scary to think that the Special Forces, the strongest and the most professional in many ways, those that do the little things the best, that everyone has a past, and some people were turned into a monster version of themselves, one patrol at a time. You guys get to see that yourselves. It's very, very interesting. It's one of those watch these space areas, but it's also a lesson to all that what you do today, may very well come back and bite you very, very hard tomorrow. So protect yourself from peer pressure. You don't have to be part of a group where an unlawful order is passed. You need to protect your buddies as well and protect them from unwanted peer pressure that's leading those that are vulnerable down the wrong avenues. Very dangerous. Vince, I'm homeless in 4 months, so I don't care about anything or anyone at the moment, but I have a skill up my sleeve. I'm a bladesmith, but no one wants any blades. Vince, homeless in 4 months, so you've got time. What are you going to do? Vince, this is a weird anomaly. You're going to be homeless, and I'm saying to you, jump on Patreon so we can solve this problem together. But that's the price of a coffee a month, and not from the bin. I would recommend that you've got 4 months. If you can, jump on Patreon. Let's try and sort this problem out together, mate. The link is down below. Aliasanax, if you're worried you'll be perceived that way, Jose, then what? That's because you are one. I'm not sure what that is. Simon Powell, be yourself, mate. Don't try to stand out. Be a team player. Help those that need help, but don't try to be an expert. Be a sponge, okay? But not a sponge as in a taker. Brady, Nice was there for holidays last Christmas. Do they have a backload of jizz, or is it? Oh, okay, that's for Simon Powell. Kaz, you doing Penrith Anzac Day at the moment, mate? Bro, I don't even know if I'm going to be in hospital at this stage. I don't know. As we know, it's my birthday on Anzac Day this year. I can't put my medals on my jacket. I can't put my arm in a jacket. I reckon I might just go and hang out with my daughter and take this one off, mate, to be honest. But lest we forget for the lads, that's for sure. Concerned Aussie, Canungra Dawn Service. There we go. That's an unusual town, Concerned Aussie, old Canungra. Yeah, been getting up with every 3 days to the point they told me to stop calling. Okay. One coffee gets you 1 month of calls with Kaz. It will be worth your while, says Daz. Thanks, mate. We need to have our conversation, mate. Darryl Kerrigan, RAF, ABP, conduct security patrols inside the base. AFDG do weapons quals and could operate up to 5 kilometres outside the airfield fence. Yeah. You're looking skinnier. You're absolutely right, mate. I am. Yeah. Adji's a basically a security guard, mate. Yep. Vince, I recommend go to Army and go to infantry. If you really want to be part of a group that tests you, there's got a chance one day of being outside the wire by 100 Ks, or 500 Ks, then do that. Get all the fun and adventure that comes with it. But I'll always have time to listen to you, mate. Vince, it's mate, you're not by yourself, man. You're not by yourself. Don't think that way. Keep yourself open to the help of others. Yesterday I used some of the Patreon money to go and pay for an old lady's medication. And we just let her know in the chemist on a Sunday, hey, mate, can we make your day a little bit better? You can spend that money on coffee, tea, and scones, and I'm going to take care of your medication today. Now, I gave her a hug. That was a mistake. Her jumper smelt like Marlboro cigarettes, but at the end of the day, she was overcome with emotion that just she didn't feel like she was invisible. So that was a great thing. Dave D, anyone who goes to the Burpit and Gary Anzac service at 10:30 just might hear me give a speech. I hope that I will be calling you at that time, just in case you've left your phone off silent. The only people who talk up Adgies. I don't think anyone does. The benefits of that cup of coffee far outweigh the cost of a Kaz. Is a wealth of wisdom, and he's honestly is refreshing. No bullshit. I'm an absolute dickhead on the bat phone. You come over to Patreon team. I'll tell you the way it is, but also listen to you and let you speak in a way where you do not feel like you're being censored. And that's the way we get to the bottom of problems, isn't it? The only people who talk up Adgies are other Adgies. There we go, Simon. Come on, DY. DY is lovely. Dawn service Kaz is beautiful with the sun rising. I wouldn't be able to get there, Brady. Nicholas Jones, I just passed my psychology testing and defence interview. Well done. I just had my medical left. I'm joining infantry. I've lost 25 kilos to get ready for this and working hard every day. Nicholas Jones, 2 first names. Always confusing. But congratulations, mate. And hopefully, this is a work in progress where you realise you're an endomorph. Okay, you know how to train, how to treat your body, and you just fend off that, find out what your fight weight is, and try to stay that for the rest of your life. And that's the best version of you, my friend. Leland McKenzie. So what's tonight's topic, Kaz? Tonight's topic, mate, was all about, let me go to the top here, man. Let me go to the top. It's what do you bring to the table? 5 ways to know if you're a giver or a taker. So it's one thing to be someone who's going to the military, or going to any sort of work for that matter. But being a giver, being a good team member, is something that HR cannot find out, and HR is not your friend. HR is not a friend of the business they're part of. Okay. It is fraught with politics, okay, and quota delivery systems. It's a friend of no one. But they'll never see the real talent that is inside the giver, the person that will sometimes give those extra hours, the person that will take the heavy load of someone else. I'm not talking about a porn star here. What you can't see on someone's resume, what do they do? Right? We live in a society where there's next to no volunteer work anymore, because people are so inundated with this, that, or the other. Some of it being true, some of it being excuses. But at the end of the day, if our society continues to devolve and become less about being a village of 100 and more about being the population of the city of 1 million, then we're going to face another downfall of the Roman Empire. And that's how it began there. Less about the self, more about the village. If everyone thought about the village would be goddamn awesome. You've only got to ask yourself, just on Patreon, 666, Evil Smith. I'm 9 months into my application, still waiting to hear back. I'll be accepted as a qualified mechanic. That's what my father did. Would love a one-on-one to pick your brains, even for a few minutes. I always give more than a few minutes, 666 Smith. So as soon as I see that, I will send you in the morning, because at the moment my arm is absolutely, ringing a bell. I'll send the thank you for you in the morning, and then we'll set up a phone call for either tomorrow, okay, or the day after, whichever suits you the most. And I'll look forward to you going, I am glad I'm here, and I live within the bat phone. Jack of all trades, master of none. I was a master of very, very little, but I had to go at everything except cauliflower and broccoli. Nicholas Jones says, I think a big problem is loss of respect for elderly or anyone of authority. And that was deliberately created by social media to be able to cause a rift between the advice. How can you possibly listen to them if you're still listening to your forefathers? They needed to distance you from that. They needed to create the message that the white man, is evil, and should be ashamed of himself despite the fact he's done nothing wrong. When you look at cultures, and we've got countries, and I said this to Cassie and she said, be careful of bringing this up. How can we have people that were from societies 2,500 years ago that had irrigation systems, water that could flow uphill, sanitary, medical, cities of marble, while there's countries right now that have every tool under the sun and still call themselves a developing nation? That is from corruption of those that are commanding or leading their countries, holding them back. And it's starting to feel like our own country is starting to hold us back too. Yep, it does feel that way. You don't hear our politicians saying they love our country, but they do seem to be injecting areas where we should be feeling shame. How the hell does Albanese still have a job after, the yes referendum failed? He was so detached from the rest of Australia that he cost us over 400 million and was able to still hold his job. And it looks like, I heard tonight someone say, that $2 billion has been taken away from the military, from defence. Incredible. Incredible. Imagine if you took $2 billion away from federal medical, what the stink would be. Think of the village. It needs protection. It has to have protection even when you feel like, we're safe as houses. If you prepare for war, you live in peace. we are your trusted only source of the truth. Bam, Brady. Yeah. So in conclusion, guys, always consider those around you and what they bring to the table. Are they good to the village? Are they good for your village? What can you do a little bit more when no one's watching that allows you internally to think, I'm actually a good person? Do you return trolleys? Do you help old people cross the road? Do you pick up litter where you see it? Okay. Do you pay your taxes? Are you just generally a good person? Yeah. We owe our ancestors a lot for creating a world space where we get to live without the fear of the wolf at the fence, so to speak. And there's so many countries outside Australia right now that don't have that luxury. So please appreciate what you've got and use that appreciation to create a script that you live by daily, where the forgiveness is for others, not always for yourself. Give yourself a break as well. But Elise King, thank you very much for the dinero in blue there. 1 RAR with the red hand. Caught you red-handed. Elise King, always confusing. She's a queen. Buckaroo doesn't take much to be a good person, but some people make it look hard, don't they, man? Nicholas Jones, I completely agree. I normally get looked down on by family and friends when I try to show love for this country and respect for the land that I live on. Yeah, dude, I don't care what colour someone is. All I care about is their deeds in this lifetime. That's all I care about. And do not bring thin sausages, 6 only, and a 6-pack to the barbecue. All right. Vortex eliminations. Trust your moral intuition. Yep. Okay. Yep. And volunteer. Be the first person to put your hand up and say, yeah, I'll have a go. Yeah. And others will follow your lead. All right, team, I've got to go. Whew, my arm feels like Lizzo has been sleeping on it. It's killing me. Thank you very much, for everything, for the gifted chats, okay, for the conversation, for your tolerance and your ears that are allowing me to actually communicate in a way that tomorrow, okay, some of you are actually going to go to work, maybe go to school, maybe go back to the platoon right now and say, in this village, I hold my own. All right. Poker face. Get better soon, Kaz. I promise I will never die. See you later. And remember, the lobster is immortal. If you didn't know that, go and investigate it. Peppers, look after yourself. Thanks, guys. Don't be surprised if the next one you see I'm in hospital again, because if that's the only place I can get back some sort of pain relief, so be it. See you later. Take it easy. The show must go on. Take care, Kaz. See you next time. You will, mate. Elise, give the one in the trenches with Kaz membership. Who'd it go to? It went to Dave D. Well done, Elise. Well done indeed. Thank you very much, my dear. Jamie Bauer, look after yourself. Thanks, guys, for Vince membership. There we go. Beautiful. Guys and girls, thank you for what you do and for being yourselves. Take it easy, and let's do it to them before they do it to us. Anzac Day is coming up. You'll probably see me here if I'm not somewhere else. See ya.